What's up, people? My name is Bafana Mdini. I'm a member of the Cultivating Literary Club in Cultivating, Carltonville, in the Western District, Gauteng Province, South Africa. That's where I'm at. And so a couple of weeks back, I asked people to recommend some books for me, and they did. And so I'm going to try to talk about those books. So the first book we're going to talk about is called A Thousand Splendid Suns. It was written by an author named Khalid Hussein from Afghanistan. And the book is about war, I think it's about war, but mostly it's about, women rights and how women are treated in Afghanistan. So we are going to focus on that. We are going to talk about women and human rights. We are going to talk about war, and we are going to talk about culture and religion and how they are actually the causes of whatever discomfort and of whatever, I guess, just effect that is just wrong, just negative effect. And so this is a story about toxic men. And obviously, we are living in a place right now where women feel affected by men a lot. Women feel like men are abusing them, and they feel like men are oppressing them, and they feel like we live in a time. And I think Os Phoenix Makatini actually recommended this book because me and her, we have had a number of conversations where we disagree, on things. Me saying that men are also affected, and her saying that, men are actually the cause of everything. I don't really believe that, but I think she recommended this book from that place. I don't know. I'm sorry if I judged you. Maybe I should have waited, to hear what your opinion is about the book first, or why you recommended this book for me. But after all the conversations we have had, I think this was the reason. Anyway, so what do I think the book is about? I mean, in a place where women are denied a lot of freedoms, or a lot of rights, I would say that this book, is spot on, and it actually reveals, a lot about, the nature of man and what man is capable of, and it also shows us the weaknesses of men, and by men I'm talking about the male, and so it actually shows you what's going on with our world, and where our world is, and how primitive we are, when it comes to a lot of things, especially things of integration and relationships and so on. I think we're still young when it comes to those. Yeah, we might have developed the greater civilizations as a species, but I think we are still struggling when it comes to relating to each other. And so I think that's why we have Facebooks, social media, to maybe tie and forge communications, and so on and so on. But in this particular story, women are denied a lot of rights. And so I don't know if that the Khaled was saying blames it on the men. I don't know, I'm not sure. I mean, I can say he blames it on the men, and he would be right to an extent, though. But I really do disagree with him, because in this story, as women are denied a lot of things, it's because of this other dictatorship, or this regime called the Taliban. And the Taliban is the one that is controlling the country at that time. It is governing in that country, and it was voted into power, I think, by the people, or something like that. And so it's just controlling everything, denying women rights. I don't know if you feel like women were the only victims in the story, but I feel like men were also the victims of a culture, of a religion. They fell victim to this religion and culture, and they had no option, but to do it. Phoenix, if you check, how Rashid raised Zalmai, I think you will understand what I'm talking about. in this particular instance, you know what I mean, is that women might have been affected by men directly, physically, emotionally, abused by these men. But I think it's far deeper than that. I think the men were oppressed by the Taliban. I mean, there's a part in the story where and the men are also forced to leave their beards. Their beards had to grow and stuff like that, and they had to have turbans on their heads when they walk the streets and stuff like that. Then if they find you stealing, you would be killed and stuff like that. There were laws against men also. But what I will do highlight, I think, is that Dr. Hussein did a great job of going into the experiences, and so on and so on. And I think with Zalmai's life, he did paint a little bit of how boys become these dictators and these regimes that are oppressive to women. Is that this is the results of their history, their ancestral lineage and so on, how they were raised and how they raised their children is the result of this. And so where does this evolution of laws and religion come from? I believe that it comes from a lot of trial and error as a human species moving forward, and it's been there. It's just that I guess the West outgrew it faster, or they realized it faster, as they are a bit ahead of us when it comes to a lot of things like technology and so on. But that's my opinion. I think the story is about human rights. As much as it's seen through the lens of a woman, I don't think that the Khalid was trying to actually paint men as monsters, which I think is maybe what you might be believing at this moment. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Sorry. You will get to me. You know where I live. You can come to my house. You can tell me nonsense when you meet me in the streets. It's not a problem. You know what I mean? We can fix it. So yeah, this is what I believe the story is about. So for me, it's a story about religion, culture, being the biggest oppressor, and not really speaking about the men. Although the men are the perpetrators in this particular story, I don't think that's what that the Khalid was trying to do. I think he was trying to show us that men are also victims of these cultures and in these dictatorships, and everybody gets affected by them. And and I think he also did a good job in painting the war and what happens beneath the beneath the guises of these dictatorships and religious religious, what do you call these religious movements, and he was trying to show you what happens behind the scenes. And so I think he did a great job of doing that. I think I learned a lot from the book. So Phoenix, if you feel like I didn't do justice to your book, I mean, you know where to get at me. So I'm just gonna move on straight and talk about Outwitting the Devil. Before I do that, can I take a pause? Okay, so the second book that was recommended for me was called Outwitting the Devil, or it's called Outwitting the Devil, not was called. And it's right there behind me also, as you can see it on that screen. And it was recommended to me by Zizo Chabalala, who is a Facebook friend of mine, and I appreciate him for doing that. If he's a him, of course, I hope it's a him. I hope I'm right, but I've seen your profile picture, Brian. I thought you were a guy, so I'm sorry if you are a woman or if you're a lady. I'm sorry. So he recommended this wonderful book called Outwitting the Devil. It was written by Napoleon Hill, and it's a book it's actually a self-help book. I think it's a self-help book, and it's trying to help people who are trying to find themselves and who are trying to do great things in the world and who are trying to pursue careers and who are trying to change their lives. And I think it's a very beautiful book. Everybody should read this. I mean, it's more like an interview with the devil, and you are like, it's like you are sitting there, sitting the Satan, and you are trying to understand, why he's capturing people and why he's controlling the world. And you learn quite a lot from this particular book about also religion, and it brings us back. I think these books are intertwined to an extent. It speaks on religion and environment, and how people are raised and stuff like that, and it actually makes it clear to people that a lot of the things that are happening in the world are the result of our own ignorance, and we drift. He uses this particular term called drifting in this book, and it's a beautiful book, man. And he speaks about hypnotic rhythm or something like that people get lost in the chaos of the world so much that they lose focus and lose control of themselves, because in order for you to change anything, you have to have control over yourself, and you have to learn how to control yourselves so you can learn how to control your circumstances, and so on and so on. It's a very beautiful book, and I don't have much to say about this one. Outwitting the Devil is just a dope book. If you are a person who's into a non-fiction and who is into serious books and serious practical books, this is a book for you. I learned a lot from it, and because I am a person who's into non-fiction a lot, I like psychological and self-help books. I read them a lot, and so I think this is just my review or my take on these books, and I want to appreciate the people that recommended these books for me. So with that said, man, I'm not gonna try and be long. I don't want to be long, so I'm just gonna stop here and hear what you guys when the Phoenix disease, or what you think about what I've just done for you in terms of the books that you have recommended. Maybe not for you, but for me, but to you, obviously, and so on. So anyway, the music that is playing in the background is music by Mo Touch. I will leave his link so you can go and redirect to the music if you want to download it. And right here I have my man's mixtape, King Dwereza, Motswana the Last. You can go on his page. It's called King Dwereza, and check out this guy. He's a very dope rapper, and I'm pushing him. And so with that said, man, this is Cultivating Literary Club, and we are still doing it. We are still cultivating a culture of reading. It's important that we read, so read. And I will just publish this as as an EarRead project initiative. So thank you to people who are watching. Amen.